Hello ES116 Module 1ers. Now this module is about a whole differentiation process. So first of all, we've got to establish why should we differentiate. Now there's a couple of imperatives, I call them. One is this important document in education called the Melbourne Declaration, and that sets out a framework and an aspiration of Australian education institutions, whether they be primary, secondary or tertiary. And in that it's about meeting and our learner needs and a concept of equity. Secondly, it's then translated to the 8 standards, whereas you as an educator will be assessed at various levels along the journey, one important being the graduate level, and then as you teach. And in the ones, knowing your students, it talks about not only knowing them, but how you can meet their needs and differentiate the tasks. So the 8 standards. The third one is from a Christian perspective. Now, as an educator, you're not just filling an empty vessel just with information. What you're doing is growing them and transforming. And as Christ transforms us, we need to transform the learners in our classroom. And the first step is knowing them and then responding to them as individuals, not just the whole class. So those couple of imperatives, there's three imperatives, drive differentiation. You'll be introduced in this module about a framework of differentiation and see if we can establish a way of defining and then moving through. I'll show you. This area here is what I call the domains of differentiation. And we're going to discuss and define them in terms of students' readiness, interest, passion, learning profile, and so on. And that's the student. And this is our response as a teacher, what content, what process, or what product we're asking the students or we'll ask them to produce. And how can I structure the learning environment which is responsive to the students? So that's the language that we're going to talk about. Further on, we've introduced this cycle, and this cycle will be unpacked in the following lectures. So it's about, how do I know the students? What do I do about it? How do I plan? How do I teach? And it's this cycle going through. So this first module is about understanding why we need to differentiate, what is differentiation, and then how can I apply it to my teaching cycle. And it ends with some videos and a framework which unpacks that cycle a little bit further. So welcome. This module is really setting the scene for differentiation to follow.